Psalm 133. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion, for there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore.
Then Jesus came to them and said, All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
It's my job, gentlemen, to try to keep us to the script, kind of try to stick to the script here. And I'm going to try to incorporate and tie in what we're talking about in reference to the topics, right? And make it relatable when and where at all possible. And everything gels. We're all talking about, again, America and society at large, faith, the inner workings, Mark, again, and Kevin, we were talking about, believe, racism, right? And I wanted Billy, you to jump in reference to a point that was made, because me and Bill, we kind of, we're in ministry together. We really come from that Christian perspective. I don't agree with everything that Billy has to offer now, right? I can't sign off on everything, but a good deal, we do share the same thoughts. So Bill, please speak to some of the points. You can speak to Mark's point, reference to racism, right? I know some of your views, whether or not that's real, or if that's, if racism doesn't exist anymore, right? That's something that the media is just pushing. There was another point, I think, Kevin, what was the last point you made, Kevin, if you remember?
So going back to, it's funny because this is what Mark started the conversation with earlier, right? Like about how the news feeds on Facebook and everything becomes this political thing, right? So just to let y'all know from a black man's perspective, and I think Mark echoed these same words, there is not a black man, woman, nor child on the planet who doesn't hold sympathy for what happened to that child, right? No one in their right mind wants to see a monster get away with murder, right? So let me just state that. It becomes something political when you start to compare it to the George Floyd situation. They are apples and oranges and not the same by any stretch of the imagination, right? And you see these news feeds, because I've seen the post before, like, the media is real quiet on the Connor kid, which Cannon, I think his name was, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think it was quiet at all. Actually, if it was quiet, we wouldn't know about it, right? Like, so that in itself is an oxymoron, right? But there's no one trying to, discredit what that monster did to that child, right? No one, right? But on the flip side, when you take a look at the George Floyd situation, right? The same thing that you hear, I've seen little posts about justice for Cannon, right? Like, what does that mean? Because when we are crying out for justice as Black people and Black Lives Matter, when we're crying out for justice, we mean, hey, Breonna Taylor was in her house asleep. They came in and killed her. And he's on vacation, right? He's in the Caribbean somewhere with a drink in his hand. This monster that killed this child, Cannon, he's in jail. So when we see those kind of things, like, asking for justice for him, well, his trial will come, and I'm pretty sure he'll get the death penalty or something comparable, right? He will get justice. Our justice is different. We can't even get people arrested for murder. We know who killed George Floyd. We watched it. How long did it take for them to even make an arrest? Right? We know who killed Breonna Taylor. We can't even get him arrested.
Well, okay, well, thanks for jogging our memory again, Kevin. Bill, I'm gonna kind of set you up here, but I'm gonna be the first to say it because it might be better received coming from me as a Black man, right? I think, and then you could kind of caveat that too. I think, what we see in the media oftentimes is they'll take an event, right, that suits their agenda, right, and the media is ran by the liberal left, and they will promote that without end, right, because it fits the agenda.
Yes, sir.
But right when it doesn't fit the agenda, they don't promote it because it doesn't advance the cause, right? And with that, Bill, I'll go ahead and pass it to you.
No, I agree. You look at that Cannon kid. If it wasn't for social media, very few people would know about it. I've heard about it very little on television. There's a reason why the hashtag say his name was trending. Just like after the RNC convention, when the blacks were speaking, when some of those blacks were speaking, they were hashtagging Uncle Tom. So I mean, and this was coming from black people. I mean, it's sad, the toxic environment that we are in. I agree with Mark. You know, you turn television off, all these problems just seem to go away. I heard someone ask an Amish man, why is the Amish community not ravaged by COVID-19? Well, it's simple. We don't have television. I mean, and it's created. I mean, these things are created. I'll give an example. Go back to Michael. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, go back to Michael Brown, for example. The media created this whole fake narrative. Don't hands up, don't shoot. Michael Brown never said that. Witnesses there said he never said that. You know, they're pushing this stuff to create a racial divide. And they're doing it purposely. To go back to the RNC, DNC thing, there's a stark differences between them. You know, the two conventions. One of them was an American convention, the RNC, and the other one, you didn't know what was going on. One of the main speakers was a convicted murderer, Donna Hilton. She killed a New York businessman. You know, black on white crime. Of course, you know, that doesn't get polarized like some of the other incidents would. And I'm not trying to make it a racial issue, but you have to ask yourself, why do these things happen the way they happen? You know, are
you looking for an answer to that? Or is that hypothetical?
Well,
like,
I mean, if you've got an answer.
Not rhetorical.
I mean, if you've got an answer.
I do. I don't think so. Respectfully, I don't think any of it is made up, right? Like the things that happen are real.